Today I want to show you a way to check your stove, to check the resistance on the stove for the elements. What you're going to want to do is unplug the stove. You can see I've got my giant plug back here. And what I'm going to do is take my voltmeter, and on the ends, first I'm going to set my voltmeter ohms. That's a little upside down U shape. And then test to make sure my voltmeter is working. I've got continuity by touching the two leads. What I'm going to be doing is clipping the two leads, one onto each of the hot ends of each hot for the stove plug. I've unplugged the stove already, so you'll need to unplug the stove in order to do this test. And I'm just clipping each lead onto the end of the stove prongs there, as you can see. And of course we have no continuity, but what we're going to do is turn on each of the stove portions, range portions. So this one's the left front, so I'm going to turn it on to high, and you'll see we have resistance. This one's showing 39, so it's showing that we have continuity, it's working. So we'll check the next one, 39 also. So it appears that this model is meant to be 839 on the smaller elements. That's this size here. So now over here we're going to check the next one. And this is the rear element, so it's also a small element, also showing us 39. And last is going to be the larger 8-inch element. These other elements are 6 inches. This is the 8-inch element, so I'll turn it on. Check it out, and we're showing a resistance of 23. So that's good. Now we're going to test the oven element. So we're going to set this to bake, and that'll be just the bake element. And then we've got our oven temperature here, and we're showing resistance of 874. Now we're going to set it to broil, and we're going to change our dial over to broil and test our resistance that way. And we've got 17. Now back at our bake element, you saw how we had 874. There's something wrong there. This should be more in the range of like 34, 24, something like that, depending on your particular stove model. So I'll show you at bake here. And if we look inside here, I already knew this obviously, but you can see we have had something go wrong here. So this element needs to be replaced, which is indicated by our crazy readings here, abnormal readings. Anyway, that's how to check a stove resistance levels, kind of an easy way. Just unplug it and do it that way. You can also take the elements off and check each individually, but on a stove like this, where the elements are hardwired, I don't know if you can see back in there, I'm shining a flashlight on it, but they're inside these little ceramic containers, and that's where the connections are made. The wires are hardwired to screws there. So this particular style of stove is a little bit trickier to test the resistance. Other stoves with a quick plug, you could just pull it out and then test your continuity that way. But anyway, this is this one. So again, I'll switch this back over to broil, and we see we've got a resistance of 17, and that's much more normal, the 17 for the broil element. That's how to check out the stove according to resistance. Next, I'll have to show you how to replace that bake element. I'll show you that on a different video. Happy Friday.